What's up? What's up? We are back with another episode of Who All Gonna Be There podcast, the place where you get to be an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. And for our viewers, you can see we have another special guest, a special guest who's come back, and it is none other than
Eric, come
our
on,
friend.
come on. You don't have to. You don't have to introduce me every episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
I refuse to do this with trees. I refuse. But our special guest is our good friend Betty Yirsaw from BBCAN11.
Yay!
The queen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm so grateful to be here. I can't wait to chat about this BBCAN11. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Jesus.
This
It's
season.
something.
But thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. We are so thrilled to have you back. You know, we had you after your season ended, and it was amazing. So we gotta get our sis Betty back.
Yes.
And Business B is in the building, y'all. So, Betty, tell us a little bit before we jump into the season. What's been going on? How's life been now after BBCAN10?
It's been good. You know what? I did take a little bit of time off just to get zen because it's such an intense experience. But since then, I have been just really working on myself. I've been trying to get a little bit of travel here and there. Have some upcoming travel that I'm really excited about. And just living, literally living day by day, just trying to heal from that experience. But also now I'm in a place where I think about all the good times. So it's just I almost kind of low-key miss it in a weird way.
Right.
I see the drama now as a viewer, and I'm like, ooh, but I like the mess.
If only you were in there. If only you were in there.
Oh my goodness. How would you in this house, if you put yourself in this house, right now, where do you think you would be at? What would be going through your head? Just thinking.
I've thought that, I really think that it's hard to say. I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I'd ride it out with Kuzi. I love her, queen. But, you really don't know because you go in there as well. And there's so many strong personalities. So as much as I love watching the Ties and the Zacks, I oftentimes think about how I would be if I was in there with them. I don't know if I could handle all that toxic masculinity.
Listen.
It would drive me up the wall. But as a viewer, I'm loving it. I think it's a little chaotic, and I kind of like it.
Okay, in terms of viewership, I know you were kind of like a casual like me, watching the seasons and whatnot. We only seen a few of them. What about the live feeds? What are your perspective on the live feeds and them not having them?
Yeah, I really do. Like you said, I had never seen the live feeds. I've never actually seen live feeds before. So now as I'm more of a super fan and I guess invested, it would be cool to get more of a bigger picture of things. Sometimes I feel like the story is missing a little bit.
Right.
And I wish that I could just get a little bit more and I could know a little bit more. It's just I feel like I'm only getting snippets, and I want to see the full picture because I know that they're in there all day and they're adding up a storm, and I'm only getting snippets of that. So it's hard for me to really formulate I don't really have a perception on anything other than what they show me. So that's tough.
Exactly. I know in this house right now, we have Shania, and she seems super nice. She's super cool. I can't tell you a lick about her. She liked Rob for a second. She liked Dan. Outside that, I don't know.
Last episode, they showed us a little bit of their budding weird kind of friendship. And then it was okay, see ya, buddy. And I was
we don't get nothing. And she was on the couch crying. I'm like, what is she?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
I forgot she was in the house.
Yes, I really agree. She probably has this really loud budding personality, and we have no idea about it.
I didn't even know her and Dan were that close. And then I was oh, damn, it's like that, hey?
Right.
And Eli, you brought up a really great point. We're at jury, and it feels like we're on premiere night still with so many of these people because we don't know anything about them other than what we've been shown. So with it being, this is week 4, we're in jury, but we've had 3 people walk out of in the game, whether it was intentional or just things happen.
That's crazy.
This is unprecedented. I've never seen this on any Big Brother seasons ever.
It blows my mind. Okay, the first time I was oh, obviously medical reasons, that's completely understandable.
Yes, agree.
I'm nothing but the best. But then it was everyone's threatening to self-evict. And I was what?
Are we just doing this? What's going on?
And and I feel like maybe it's a tactic. I don't know exactly what it is, but it was getting annoying. It was like, okay, then leave. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing here. I'll go and let the players play.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not wasting no HOH on you. You want to go, you better walk on out that door.
Exactly. Aren't you guys here trying to make the money? You don't even know each other. Like, why are you doing this? It's because you're delusional in that house. Like,
Exactly.
I see.
I was delusional. Everybody's just like,
and there's not much space. I'm sorry. I think I said this last week, but y'all house, as beautiful as the BBCAN house always is, there is nowhere for y'all to go. Y'all are like in a 2x4 closet.
It feels like
100%. And when they shut the doors and you can't go outside, then you're like really confined. And with over 12 people, like one bathroom, and like you're everywhere you go, you're seeing these people. So it can get a little chaotic, and I can understand why people would self-evict. But remember, it's not forever. It's only for a couple of weeks. Just like get evicted and like get evicted. Don't run away. Get evicted.
Right.
What is Spicy V? You signed up for this. You signed up for this.
That's what was in my head the whole time. You signed up for this. Oh.
All right, so now we can get into the season. Now that we've kind of, got through the little preliminary portion of how, your perspective on the show and things of that nature. Treese, you want to pick up where we left off with last week, going into this week?
Yes. So, where we last left off, we found out that Santina is in fact indeed the invisible HOH. We already knew that. But going into our dailies from, I want to say this is like Tuesday or Wednesday. It opened up with Hope and John having a conversation, which they pretty much, we knew they were kind of like working together and had like trust within each other, but they finally sat down and solidified like, hey, they haven't come up with a name for their team or nothing that we know of yet. We only get so much on the dailies. But we do know that they said that they are 100% going to trust each other and they're going to be straightforward with each other. Santina did tell John that she was HOH first, and then later on she did go and tell Hope. So she has some trust in them, which they like, yeah, she gonna have to go. She gonna have to go here in a minute. But that situation happened. John at this point is fed up with Ty. He has a close relationship with Claudia. They per se haven't had like really a lot of like game between each other, but they do genuinely like each other. So he feels some type of way about Ty talking down to Claudia, which Ty's gonna get his own segment because I got word for him, but we're gonna get to that. And then they of course switch click feeds over. Feeds, dailies. I don't want to call them feeds because they're not feeds. They're not even dailies. Snippet. That's what I'm gonna call it, the snippet. So in the next snippet, Daniel and Anika are talking in the flamingo room, and Daniel pretty much is saying like, hey, Kuzi, she has a good hold on the game. She's in everybody's ear. She knows what's going on. And I guess Anika was kind of picking up what Daniel was saying. She was just like, we can't betray like Kuzi now, like what you trying to say? And he was like, no, he tried to kind of backtrack a little bit, like, no, we're not gonna betray her, but eventually we have to get her out the game because at the end of the day, she's better than us. That's my words, not theirs. Those are my words. Let's see, Claudia and Santina, they end up having a conversation. This is when they're having this conversation about her on the block. We know Claudia, and who else on the block? Dennis?
Yes.
After the veto, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even get to that part yet. Well, let me let Eric take over the veto because I don't want to dip into that because I'm getting ahead of myself.
Right. So before Santina wins HOH, let the record reflect. What did we say last week? They keep saying, "Oh, Santina is nothing. She's gonna win a comp. She's been coming in second. She already won 2 competitions. We said this woman was gonna win another HOH. And what did she do? Won another HOH.
We literally said it on the last pod. We was like, she gonna mess around and win again.
Yeah. And what did she do? She did. Yep. So Santina's HOH, and obviously, she has Ty in mind and Dan in mind. That's who she nominates, and we're fine with that. We like, hold on, she didn't nominate Kuzi, even though Kuzi put her up. We'll take
people's
it.
Champ. Cool. She's a people's champ now out of nowhere.
We like, she working hard for that stand card, and she just might get it.
We're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. So she has Dan and Ty on the block. Totally fine with me. We can't stand Ty. Dan, I don't know what's going on in his head, and Betty probably knows more about it because like you've been in the house, but he's he's just lost in the sauce, and I don't understand why. But so we get to the veto episode, and you have people, Daniel, he's like, I want to win something. I need to make my mark on the game. We don't know he knows who the invisible HOH is, but everybody else, they're like freaking out about it because Ty's mad because he's going to self-evict if he don't get off the block. And Dan clueless as ever. So we get to the veto, and it's this like money heist, rob a bank type of veto. They gotta unscrew the wheel off and put the little bars together or whatever and knock their bag off. It's a really complicated, long competition.
It's like a Survivor comp. I was like, what is all these parts?
Low key. But I always say, BBCAN, y'all's comps are amazing.
They eat up US.
But they make them so hard.
Yeah.
And to make this one harder, because the object was for them to like put as many like items onto the scale and get as close to 500 as possible. And the person who did that won. And so, but they don't know how much things weigh. So they had to find a key, but there's only so many keys, I guess. And they get to unlock these like, what do you call
weights?
Reference weights. There we go. The reference weights. Everybody finds a key, but Ty,
baby, he was searching high.
I said, look at the karma. He can't find the key. He spends, so they only get, was it like 15 minutes for this conference? 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And he is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes left. But he's still
25 minutes trying to find that doggone key.
Trying to find a key. And so they're all putting their weights on there. Everybody seems to have a pretty good grasp. Then he just starts to like, you know what? Forget the key. I'm just going to start putting the stuff on there. Hope's getting his stuff on there. And we come out. Honestly, he actually did good to be guessing because he was third place. If we got to give him his props for that. But Daniel C came out on top. So he got his veto. And at this point, like if you didn't see the snippets, we don't really know like what's going to happen, but I would leave him on there. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I would leave Ty on there. No need to change it. One of them gotta go.
Jesus.
However, he decides that he wants to potentially take Ty off the block. And in this episode, though, something amazing happens. And I'm really proud for this thing that happens. An alliance formed called the Crown. And it consists. Okay, look, I love this little crown on.
I love it.
I love it. It consists of Queen Kuzi, of course.
Yes.
Our sis Anika, Daniel C, Jonathan, we call him Captain Canada, and Mr. Hope.
I love them.
We love Jonathan. Look, we love Jonathan.
I love Jonathan.
We respect him. We support him because he respects and support our people. Okay.
Yes.
I love him. Stand card.
Absolutely.
He better not act up. Because whenever I give a white man my stand cards, something happens.
You gotta be flexible with it because you don't know, right? It's like
it's a temporary card.
He's doing good though, because we ain't never got into jury. Because by now I would have been like snatched it up, and he still got it. So yeah, I'm still holding that hope that Big John gonna keep it up.
And he's just a really good person from what we can see. Like he's really mellow. He's really sweet. Yeah,
so sweet. And I'm like, I wish he was on our season. I wish he was our person from the East, you know?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I really feel like some of our games would have been a lot different.
Oh, for sure.
Who is from the East? We don't know. I don't know the geography and you know
Murdy.
Oh, Father Time.
Who is that? We don't know who that is.
Yeah. We don't speak of that.
Some random.
We don't know who that is on this podcast.
So they all formed this alliance, and I don't know when I've loved an alliance and like so much. Like I love pretty much everybody in there. Obviously, Daniel C is at the bottom of my totem pole, but I really like this alliance between them, and it's called the Crown, which I think is amazing. And so I love that. And Daniel C, he proposed it to Kuzi and Anika first about, what if we took Ty off the block? We could use him for a future. He'll be grateful for us. And so they were kind of buying it. And then he was like, I need to talk to Jonathan and Hope, get them on board, because if they're not going to be on board, then I'm not going to be able to use the veto.
You're going to do it anyways.
I think he was too. And so he tells them, and Hope is immediately like, what? No, absolutely not. Once you touch fire, bro, you can't go back and tie it. We've seen him up there. We've touched the fire. He has to go. And I have to interject this because Hope has he's probably had the most growth for me as a player.
Oh my gosh, the most.
And from the video, yes, like just from his interviews from the beginning, like with Jed up until now, like I thought he was just gonna be just, sitting in the back, goofy or not knowing what's going on, like, kind of following the leader like he was kind of pretending to be. But
Right.
his game sense has really grown on me, and I really am excited to see what Hope does as a player. And so they're trying to convince him, Daniel C, that he does not need to use the veto. And so I was like, okay, Daniel, what you gonna do?
I honestly don't get what the reason, like I get like, oh, maybe, I mean, of course I guess it panned out for this week. So, but I feel like they weren't going to be a target anyways.
No.
I feel like there was a very, very slim chance any one of those 5 in the crown were going to be up.
I think that Daniel made the decision solely based on the interest of himself. I think that
for sure.
Be like, hey, look, Ty, I used this on you. Now you owe me something. He obviously switched it up and made it seem like it would benefit the group, but I think they are
sure
enough to know that this was a Daniel C thing for himself.
Absolutely.
And I think we're gonna see a lot more of him making these self-serving decisions as we go on. But it is the game. I understand.
Oh, I ain't mad at it.
I'm not mad at it, but I just think that we need to be ready for it. It's like he's not going to be like taking bullets for anybody in this game.
No, not one.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up, Betty, because one thing that I did really like that Daniel C did when he was having this conversation with Ty, he was like, who did you think won or whatever? Like, what are you, your thoughts if you came off the block? What would happen? And he was like, oh, such as I got some targets in mind. He was like, who your target? Going forward. And he was like, oh, I'm going up to Tina Renee. He was like, okay, cool. I want to veto. I just want you to know.
At least he checked first. Like, wait a minute.
Exactly. That is what you do. Like for future Big Brother players, and I know Betty can attest. Get the information first before you start promising or giving.
Right, get some tea.
Exactly.
100%. And like always make sure that if you're, like you said, if you're going to give something, you're going to get something in return. And it's okay to give things strategically too. So in like little doses. Do you know what I mean? If I would have known that then, it's funny if you look back and you're like, I could play this game way better. It's way different.
Oh, goodness. Absolutely. And so he tells Ty that he won the veto and that he wants to take him off. And Ty's like, oh, bad, bro. Cool. And so we get to the veto ceremony and he does take Ty off the block. And apparently, I guess Santina was looking funny because she was not happy because Claudia gets put up as a replacement. And based on that reaction, whatever Santina did with her facial expression leads us directly into what happened on Thursday's eviction episode.
Hold on, let me just say, Renee was also looking. I would have thought it was Renee after her reaction. Her mouth just dropped. I forget if that was the veto or the initial noms, but she just went.
She did look like she was overacting, though. She did. She looked like
you can't be that shocked. It's like it's not shocking. You. Everyone. I feel like if 5 different people won, it would be Dan and Ty. Like,
she missed. If
it was your girl, CC, Riri, whoever, like. All right, you can make that face, but Ty and Dan, they did not deserve that reaction
at all.
I feel like she's kind of an exaggerated person, though. When she's like Lute and stuff.
I absolutely hate that.
I'm so sick of that.
I'm like, stop, please stop. You're supposed to be a lawyer in a minute. Stop.
I know it does make me cringe a little bit. Just the word, the person, she's kind of on me. I'm not gonna.
The word and the way she's splitting up, like girl, like.
Yes.
Why
I actually like Renee. Like Renee seemed cool, but when she gets to that boot tag, I'd be like, "Girl, stop that!" Stop.
And it's
funny. A lot of strategy right now, actually. So I'm appreciating.
Yeah. Actually, whatchamacallit, Vanessa said that she was running the house low key. Like when she left, she said Renee wasn't running the house. So I thought that was an interesting perspective to hear.
I want to know where, because we didn't see that.
I know.
I thought she was chilling in the background and playing. Because I'm like, girl, you need to play some game.
And so with Vanessa saying that, it's like maybe there was some validity to what Ty and Zach was saying when they wanted to get Renee out the house, because it's like maybe obviously I wanted them gone before her anyway, but it's like maybe they see something on the game level that we clearly aren't privy to.
Right.
But so going into Thursday's episode, obviously after the veto ceremony, Ty's like, I'm about to go have a conversation with Santina because I think she's an invisible HOA. She was looking some kind of way. And so he pulls her outside and here goes Santina. So you don't trust me anymore, Ty? He was like, what? She's like, you just pulled yourself off the block. He was like, what are you? So you won the veto, and you didn't tell me. I thought we were allies. He's like, Santina, you're the HOH. It's like, what about why? Why I gotta be me? I thought it was Renee or Nika. Now you just settling on me, and so they're getting into a blow up, and I'm like, she's not doing herself any favors, but. I did not appreciate, as always, Ty's like, you need to lower. Did he tell her lower her voice or something?
Yes, he did. He was just like, all right, first of all, lower your voice, please. He did say please, but it was very condescending. Did not like it.
And it was like, do it. Like, what were you really going to uncover in that conversation?
Nothing.
No. And then you were trying to rally up Renee and Anika. And like, to me, it looked like you were just doing the most for no reason. You know what I mean?
He was trying to start a pot and wasn't even nothing in the pot. Like, come on now.
It's empty.
Yeah. And he was like all happy about it too, you know? Like, just like.
Oh, he did some.
Because it's like.
Exactly. I hate that.
You really think he onto something. And it's like, sir, you are off the block. You're safe. Why are you causing trouble that doesn't need to be caused? And he just wants to, I guess, for the fun of it, because his boy is on the block, his girl is on the block, which I still don't. Their relationship is still a little
weird.
Cringy. It's weird, very odd. And so they're arguing, and then so he's like, "Well, if it isn't you, who is it?" She's like, "Well, I think it's Renee or Nika." So he's like, "Okay." He goes get Renee, pulls her into the storage room. He's like, "Well, it has to be you because Santina said it's you." She's like, "Why is she saying to me? It's not me." He's like, "Well, let's get y'all together." So, like you mentioned, Betty, he pulls them together in the kitchen, and they start going at it, and then Anika gets brought into. And I love Anika. One thing about Anika. Let me tell you, she gonna put her foot in the argument, and she gonna let you know that she's not
Anika can go from a 0.3 to 47. Because there's been so many times where you'll just be like, Anika come here, you gotta be like, dang, Anika, like she jump up like in another thing.
I love it.
I love her.
I wasn't expecting it, right? I thought it was going to be more maybe reserved, not really.
It's giving Betty.
That's what you too, and I was like, I'll take it.
Yes, like all it took was Santina to mention her name. She's like, "Yeah, it could be Anika, it could be Renee." She's like, "Me? Hold on, wait a minute." She ran down them stairs.
She ran down the stairs so fast.
She said, "So tell me why."
Say my name, and I like that. Command the respect in the room. Like, what are you doing here?
That part.
Don't say it behind my back. Like,
say it right to my face if you really have a question. And it's like, you know what? I love that for Anika. I stand.
I do too. We love it. And so basically she came down, defended herself. She's like, what you're not going to do is put my name out there because I'm not the invisible HOH. And so they're having this tit for tat, and everybody's like, well, Santina, you're so defensive about it. How come it's not you? She's like, well, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. And so this is probably the most entertainment we've seen this week for this particular week because it was pretty dry. Like I said, I'm sorry, this week for me, the episodes they were lacking for me. But, you know, we got this juicy little argument in the kitchen. Something about that kitchen. I don't know. That kitchen is where all the drama
something always happens in that kitchen, huh?
Yes. If it's not the kitchen, it's the stairs.
It's probably because they waiting around for food and their stomach's empty. So that's when it stuff pop out. Because I get mad when I ain't ate too. So that might be what it is.
You get hungrier and hangry, especially after a comp if you have to wait a while. It's like, stop breathing my air right now immediately. Say, always.
So that's going on. And so we get them after that part. You have Dan trying to fight for his life, and you have Claudia, you know, pitching. She starts with Kuzi and Nika, basically like, listen, girls, like, I need you to know that I'm down with this 100%. I want us to be the final three. And Anika and Kuzi are, I see the eyes rolling, Betty. What's going on? Go ahead and talk.
I just felt like it was so, again, it was just, you didn't really mean that. You were just saying that to them. And I understand it's a game, but I was just like, save it, sis. Like, you don't be going out here and giving them the long-term plan when you know you can't guarantee that. It's just like, keep your mouth shut and like focus on your own, like what you got going on with Ty or whatever. Don't be like lying when you don't really need to. You know what I mean?
Because she was like, I know you guys are having reservations and about me and Ty, but I can cut him when that's what Kuzi said. Are you willing to cut him? I
don't believe it.
I love Kuzi. She's so point blank period. Like, are you gonna cut him? Like, is that
point blank and period? And that's what I love about her. She don't shy around for nothing.
100%. Like, I bet Ty would cut Claudia before Claudia cut Ty. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's what I see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
And
when they open up those dailies the other day, the first thing they pop on is Claudia all in Thai face like, I love you. And I was like, wait a minute. And so I'm thinking like maybe she just playing him. But then I'm like, no, she not. But then I'm like, maybe. And then I'm back to like, no, she not.
That ounce of hope.
Oh no, she not.
Mhm.
Yeah, like what's going on?
Game, like that's a good game. Like I'd love to see a girl just cut
I
the
would love to see it.
you know, to further their self in the game. And then,
Mhm.
you know, if I want, if they love each other, you'd go do that. But for my own
I gotta get
entertainment,
this check.
Facts.
and I'll respect you so much more. I'll be like, damn, girl, you
Right?
did that.
it's
That's
funny when it comes to showmances. I don't care for showmances. If you're
No.
not Brendan and Rachel for me, don't
Oh
give
Lord,
me
here go
showman
Brandon and Rachel. You
I'm
always
gonna-
bring up Brandon and Rachel.
because I started my DB
Jesus.
journey with them, and I'm gonna always be a Brenchel stan. I like Jeff and Jordan as a couple too. So, but in game wise, Brendan and Rachel, they were the only two that I was like, if we gotta have a showman make it to the end and root for, that's really the only showmans that I would.
I
root
am
for.
team no showmances. The only thing I want to see, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna say it anyways. The only thing I want to see on the timeline is messy, chaotic, like flirt mances. Like I'm cool with that.
Oh.
Like if it's a little like dramatic and it's like ooh, a little tension in the house between her and him, like that's cool. But I don't want y'all to be in love. I don't want y'all let's plan a relationship outside the house.
Why are you blocking folks' blessings? Folks have met their husbands and wives.
It's only 3 months, okay? Only got 3 months to see this. I don't care about y'all outside the house.
Man, these
We'll
fools on
talk
Love Is
about that
Blind
later.
is getting married in 10 days.
Oh, that's gonna be another episode.
Right.
But like, I like the mess. When I watch reality TV, I want to see the mess. I want to see the drama. Don't be in love on Big Brother, okay? Don't do it.
I feel like Big Brother Love though has like the highest success rate. Like
it really does.
More than the Bachelor shows. Yeah, literally, like people fall in love. And I feel like it ruins the game because they're all like a unit and like thinking about the future. But it's like, no, like I said, I want them to like cut each other at the end. Or like maybe not at the end, but like in the middle.
Yeah.
It's too soon.
Which is one thing I actually like about this house. Like, I don't know if it's just me. I feel like no one likes each other. Like, I feel like anyone can cut anyone. Maybe not Claudia and Ty, but like at this point, like we even saw this week, Claudia doubting Renee, and I thought those two were going to be so tight and stuff like that. Like anyone can cut anyone at this point.
Anybody can get it, pretty much.
100%. You really don't know these people, and that's why it's so interesting to see these alliances form. Like Ty right now, he lost Zach, he lost Dan S, and like really Claudia. So like we're really gonna see. But I did see in the daily, like a little snippet of him saying that he does really trust Kuzi as well. So we'll see where that really, like, will Kuzi continue to protect him? Because if in the beginning she said that Ty was her number one, they did have a falling out, but they've really been able to rebuild that relationship. So it'll just be interesting to see how like these alliances either strengthen or start to like betray.
And I think Kuzi's game really needs to be studied because how do you go from HOH? You put Ty's number one on the backdoored him at the last minute, backdoored his number one ally, told him that his ally is going home, and then told him that he was next.
Exactly.
To him saying that you are the second most trusted person to him in this game, and obviously Teresa will bring us up to he's HOH spoiler. She's pretty much safe. So
incredible social game, incredible.
I was going to say that just goes to show you that a lot of time people like to discredit social game, and Betty, I feel like you're the perfect person to be on here because your social game was like ridiculous on your season. And a lot of people underestimate it. You don't have to win comp after comp after comp after comp. Kuzi has won one comp, and I feel like she has such a grasp on the game. She's in people's ears. She's only had 1 week. She's had 1 week to make moves and do decisions, and she made her week count. 100%. That's what I'm saying. Even if this is her only HOH, she made that week count, and it stuck.
And she's safe. Not too many people can make such a big move like she did and go into the next week safe. Not even just the next week. Like she was dancing in the storage room. She was like, I'm safe for the next 2 weeks. I was like, I was right along with him.
Because I love it. she's been able to establish like trust with these people, like individual relationships. And I think that's been really like key in her game right now, because look, she made this power move and now she's able to take a step back and lean into the relationships that she like spends all of her time building. And it really shows. And I think it's like, this is kind of like I feel like Big Brother in the newer generations, I guess. It's like, it doesn't really have to be about winning the comps and like going to the end with like 8 under your belt. Like, it's really about how well you're strategically, the relationships you're building. And she's like really showing that and turning herself into a legend by doing these things. And I love watching it. I'm just like, I'm such a sad. Like, whoever betrays her, I'm gonna immediately hate.
It's not even gonna matter because she's gonna win it all, so they can't.
Don't let it be Daniel C.
If it is, oh my god, I would have to like.
We're gonna have to have a conversation. He's gonna be on the list like Josh was for the longest up until he's gonna be on the no list.
Yeah, they.
Daniel,
that up. Like let's not. That won't happen.
Let's not put that in the atmosphere, right?
Existence. I did.
Taking that out of the atmosphere, but yes, Koozie, like we literally, it might as well be the Koozie show.
I'm gonna say which team Koozie? Oh yeah,
might as well. But so we get into the vote, and it's a unanimous vote because Dan's pitch, it was a good pitch because Hope did give him some information. So Hope kind of, slid him some information. He was like, your boy, I wish Hope would have told him this sooner. And then that way, maybe we could have got a Dan off the block if one of them had to come off the block and pulled him to the side and got Ty out. But he told him, he was like, yeah, Zach and Ty was coming for you next, just so you know. Honestly. And he should have really told him that week too, but I digress. But he tried to pitch. He was like, hey, if y'all keep me, I'm going to go after Ty with everything I got, and I just need to be here to do it. And so people are kind of like, okay, this might could work, That's what the edit is doing. Anybody who watches, who's used to watching the feeds on either a show, US or Canada, we know the person going home, unless there's something major happens, by Monday, the person we know going home. And so the edit is always, I'm so mad when I found out this. Like, I would always have hope. They would give me hope that my fave would potentially be staying. I'm like, oh my God, there's some hope. There's never any hope. Like, it's pretty much set in stone who's going home.
I know they did that with Rob. Like, I literally thought that Renee was gonna go home. So like Rob, he seemed like this like gym guy, but then as we got to know a little bit about him, he's actually like a nice, like gentleman. So they really played it up to make it seem like he was gonna stay. And I was like, oh, for sure. And then he left. And I was like, this is
y'all playing with my emotions.
I thought we were gonna get
with that.
I legit thought, because like, and this is after seeing some dailies, so not even just like watching the shows, because like there were so many conversations in the dailies that they were like, oh, I'm sold on Jonathan's pitch to keep Rob. Like, why we need Rob to go after Zach? There's a shield for us. They're gonna be fighting each other. We're gonna get to sit back and chill. And so I was dead set. I was like, oh, Rob is staying. But then I got them like, hold on, you know better. You know how they say they have these conversations, but we don't get the whole picture now. So I just don't see him staying. And he didn't, unfortunately. And this week, the same was for Dan S. He was evicted unanimously. Let me put this on a record. If you ever do a BB draft or whatever draft for any reality show, do not do it blind, because
you ain't got nobody. Everybody going off his, right?
My whole team go.
Oh way.
Your whole team.
So Betty, I decided, I was like, I'll just, before watching the videos, I was like, I'll just go based off because it was a long day, and like we had a set time for like our little friend group, our group chat, like of who were going to be our people. And I just went based off, just looking at and reading the bio. So I chose JM, I chose Amal, and I chose Rob, and then I chose Dan as my winner pick. Well, they all gone, girl.
Gone.
2 of them was gone in the first week, and the next one was gone week 2, and now my winner pick is gone week 4.
Oh my gosh!
Look, I still got all my people.
You're literally like one person after the next. That's
literally like back to back. You picked the whole pre-jury.
Yeah,
you got one person jury at least.
Week 2, my draft was gone.
It's over.
Let's see. I had Koozie as my winner pick. I had Daniel C. I had Shania. I do that every week. Shania.
Hey, Shania.
Shania.
Nene, just say Nene. You know what?
I refuse.
I'm calling her.
I absolutely refuse to call her Nene. I'm not calling her that. No, I'm not calling her that. I don't know why, but I'm not calling her that. No. But all my people still holding on strong. So
but y'all watched the videos.
I watched JM.
I did.
I barely did.
You had JM?
I had JM, but then I had Anika and Shania. So
okay.
Number
one pick is Kuzi to win.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna pick Kuzi, but then I'm like, everyone's gonna pick Kuzi.
Too late. So too late.
No, I just want to go a separate way. I want to go a separate way.
That's how I felt. Like, no, and it's funny because
I'm trying to be different.
I was gonna choose Kuzi. I was like, out of Kuzi and Amal, I was like, I want one of these women on my team. I was like, I just got a really great feeling about them. And so, but I did go with Amal because I saw Trees did Kuzi. I was like, okay, let me do something different. And because I wanted to do what I didn't do in your season, because like I saw your picture, I was like, okay, I saw the orange. I said it's giving Velma. I love it. I was like, something about her I really think I'm gonna like, and I did not pick you. I don't know why I did not go with
you
it.
Was on my list. Bye, Eric.
Anyways, I know I should have done it, but we see why as the season progressed, I realized like I should have went with my gut.
Young goof.
I did.
Who was your number one pick?
I think we have the same.
It was Kyle.
Oh,
you did Kyle.
Yep.
Yes. It was Kyle. Unfortunately, I had him and Josh in the final two.
I had. Who did I have? Yeah. I had Kyle, Josh, you, and who's my fourth pick? I can't remember my fourth pick, but I know for sure y'all were my three in my draft pick.
Well, you got one. Like you got one out of the two right for you. Right?
One thing I can do, I will get the second placer because with season 9, I said the final two is going to be Austin and Braden. I got Braden right, so I can pick the second placer. One thing about me, I can pick the second placer.
Oh, that's so good. We'll see now we're in jury now. So like the game is in the second half. So we're really going to see things start to change, hopefully get messier, but we'll see.
I hope so. It. And we got 11 people.
Yeah. Well, 10 now, right?
No, for jury.
Yes.
Or is that how many people that's left? How many people are
not 9-person jury. 9-person jury.
Okay.
It's a 9-person jury. Okay, so Betty. So we see Daniel is out of Dan S is gone. They chose to get rid of him instead of Claudia. Do you think they made the right decision instead of splitting up the showmans and getting rid of Dan?
Personally, I think yes, because Dan, I always don't want to see a girl leave the house, especially now. Like there hasn't been a girl that's evicted yet. So I feel like you would have, if Claudia would have left or Dan, like they were still loyal to Ty regardless. So getting rid of one of them was still like getting rid of a number for Ty. Do I really think it matters who it was? Probably not at this point in the game, but I always do prefer a guy leaving than a girl. Like it is what it is. And Dan didn't really give me much. Like he's probably a great DJ person, but like when it came to the game, I was just like, okay, you're campaigning. The first time around, you were basically telling people like it's too soon to start anything, and they still kept your ass. And then
they were stupid for that.
Yeah, and then this time he was like getting all fired up, and I was kind of like, well, it's a little too late. Too late, you know? So yeah, they made the right choice, I guess.
Hey, should have controlled your own HOH. Shouldn't have let Zach do his thing with yours. Like you and HOH, do what you want.
Yeah,
set yourself up.
And thinking Zach was your closest ally, like to me,
that's crazy.
I don't know what kind of read you had. Like
delusional.
Yeah, bro, this guy was not your closest ally, and like
been drinking that slop a little too fast.
He had a number on a lot of people because all these people are like, oh yeah, like I like him. He's my number one. I'm thinking, what?
And that's the ultimate bro stuff. It's just like, hey, he's a bro. I think I'm a bro. We have to be tight.
No,
exactly what it is.
And then I really had so much hope for him because I felt like he could have played a really great under the radar game. But if he would have had some game sense, and he just lacked that. Like you mentioned, week 2, he didn't control his HOH when he was like, "Oh well, I felt I could be potentially getting played by Zach, but there's nothing I can do about it." Yeah, you can. You could have put him on the block instead of Rob. Like
exactly, and like had the conversations with people. Like had a conversation with Rob, seen what he could have offered him, leveraged him, not just done what Zach told you to do. You know what I mean? To me, it was just like, I don't know.
He just rolled over and died. Just kind of like for me, Rob did the same thing. He was just, there was no fire when he was nominated. When he got, backdoor, there was just no fire. And I just don't understand where the lack of fire from some of these people are.
Right.
And especially when they on the block and going home.
That was like the block. I think it's the biggest grace. Like when I think about even myself or what I love to see in players, like when your ass is on the block and your back is against the wall. I love seeing when people like show up and show out and they're like,
me too,
and like doing the most, trying to stay in the game. I love that because that's like a different level of gaming without any power, but you're still making it work. When you're just like rolling over, just like.
Just accept my fate. No, I came here to win this money.
Look,
I'm
that's
not
really. Go ahead.
I was like, you have to drag me out my cold dead hands out this house. Okay, I refuse to let.
Even then, I'm thinking that there might be a way I could get back in the house.
You never know.
I'm gonna be in the library. I'm going through books. I don't care if anybody see me. I'm finding the power. I want you to know I got it. At this point, I'm going to do everything I can to stay in this house.
And that's exactly why I'm trying to hold on a little hope with Claudia, because I really respected that she literally went and campaigned to everybody when everybody knew point blank period, or like, we know Daniel is going, but she still took out the time. It's like, you never know what's going to happen in this house. I mean, we've seen it. Things flip and change like at the drop of a hat. So I respect the fact that if you're in the game, regardless of how safe you feel, you're still playing the game. So that's why I'm kind of giving Claudia a little bell. So
100. If she just wouldn't have said that to Kuzi, like, I feel indifferent to her, but I'm also, like you said, super proud. I'm like, you were putting in work, talking to everyone, and re-establishing your relationships. You know what I mean? Like, I love seeing that. I think we're gonna see her really start to dominate in the next half.
I said she was my dark horse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't think?
I said she would be a dark horse. I felt like just from watching her.
I don't know. If Ty goes, maybe, but even I don't care what she says. Ty is going to hold her back in some kind of form or situation. I need Ty to leave in order to see what Claudia can really do, because they already doing sleepovers and whatnot, and
I know
who knows. And I'm just like,
yeah. I just feel like she's number 2 in the girly pops in it. Sounds like Renee is somewhat of a threat. Like it sounds like a lot of people are aware of Renee. That's kind of the perfect spot to be if you're Claudia. It's just like, hey, once Renee goes, slide in. You have your relationships with Ty and building stuff with the girls. I think she is the ultimate dark horse right now.
We're gonna see.
I agree.
But I guess that'll lead us into what little bit of a daily we got today. We didn't get much, but we do know, leading off on the last episode, there was a competition where they were hanging on. What were they hanging on to?
Like
an anchor or something?
Anchor, buoy, something.
An anchor. There was like water and like a shark.
They look like little.
They did look a little scared. She was like, "Oh, watch out for the shark." I'm like, "Oh."
So they did a little hangy comp. So what we do know is that Ty won the HOH comp. It was Ty, Claudia, and Hope. Which is Claudia, I expect it to be, because when there's those hanging comps, you expect like a small person to like win that, because they don't have to hold as much strength up. But the fact that Hope stayed up there, that was very shocking. Yeah. And apparently it was very, very close. They said they went like 5 hours. Yeah, which is nice.
US can never. US dies after like 2 hours.
US be up there for like 30 minutes. Like, because they've been so weak lately.
What happened to the competition? Like, you've watched the BBUS, Betty, so you know too. So it's like they used to be up there for at least 5 hours for the competition. Now we barely get an hour. 25 minutes.
Hey, I think their stipend's too high. Their stipend's too high. Cut
they need to knock it down.
They're not hungry enough. That's what it is. They're not hungry enough.
I know they do. Like the endurance comps now aren't that long, but I did hear that this one, like on the internet, that it was about 5 hours that they lasted up up there, and that is a long time though.
That's a good time. That's
I
a good
get
time
hungry.
for a count.
I just get hungry and drop. Like
I would
too
just be like, I gotta pee, y'all, and I'm not one to pee on a buoy. I'll be like, I can't do this, y'all. I gotta get down.
It depends on where I'm at in the game. If I feel like I need to win this, I might have to just pee on myself.
It depends on where we at.
The wall, you got to do what you got to do.
Listen, you never know, right?
You never know.
Yeah.
It's watered down here anyway, y'all. I gonna know the difference,
right?
And so I saw a
ahead.
little clip too, like when they were talking about it, like after the competition, Ty was talking about his lower back was killing him. But he also talked about like some strategy. He was like, and this is honestly, I gotta give him some props for this, I guess. He was like, I figured a tiebreaker round, if it went too far, that they were gonna have us start holding on by our fingertips. So I saved my fingertips to just hold by my arm. So just in case
that's smart.
they moved there, my fingers wouldn't be exhausted. That's and so smart. I think they probably went to fingertips, and that's probably why he won, because his fingers weren't as tired. Yeah. And Hope said that he oh, go ahead.
No, I just said he does. I think he was like in the military too. So I think anything of like endurance or like long.
Ty was?
Yeah. Like
he was.
So I think he probably has a little bit of training when it comes to things that are really intense like this.
That's probably why you talk like that.
I thought about that too, because I was like, you really be thinking these people, cadets.
And yeah, he be talking like he running stuff, like he bossing people around. That lines up.
I'll never forget when he jumped up on Kuzi. Maybe that was edited, and they shouldn't have edited. If they did that editing, they wrong, because the way it looked like he jumped up on. I was like, hold on now.
Hello. Like, not there. Like it's like big chest and his shoulders. If someone ever talked to me like that, I swear to God, I'd be like, you're gonna have to calm down a little bit.
You're gonna have to relax before I slap you.
Put some shoulders down before you come here, all right, boy?
Right.
And it makes me so upset, because it's like, I love the underdog winning HOH, because he was supposed to go home right after Zach, with Zach almost. And it's like he wins HOH, and normal, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, get back at the people that we're trying to get, or just an underdog win that just throws a wrench into plans.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's the cockiest underdog ever. He really has no power, but he thinks he's running the whole show and stuff like that. Show revolves around him, and I wish I could root for him. I do love an underdog.
Look, I 100% agree with that, but I feel like I'm so upset we don't have feeds, because it's a lot of rare things happening in this season. And just like Eli, I didn't even think about that until you just said that. He really was the underdog, and he's not a typical underdog. He started off in the Bro Alliance. He's a man in the house. He has sway. He has people he talks to, and now he's the underdog. And now the underdog gets to win HOH and is gonna put up, whoever wronged him. And I was like, dang, this is the first underdog I won't be rooting for.
Exactly. Because last underdog I could think of was Betty's veto win. I remember we went crazy over your veto win.
Oh my God, we had you trending that night. I'll never forget that.
Baby, listen.
Turn it up.
And she ate the speech. I'm not going home anywhere, Mark.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, let them know.
I got blocked by so many people on Facebook that night. Why does Betty have to be so loud? That's so disrespectful.
No, it ain't.
You can kiss her black ass is what you can do. Look,
and you know what? I would have done it again. I literally would have.
Oh my gosh. That was a wonderful night, man.
And on Marty's HOH, I think was that Marty's HOH?
Yeah, he wanted her gone. He tried to get us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Screwed up Marty's. I mean, whatever his name is.
We don't speak his name over here.
Yeah, my bad.
But it was the perfect week, because Betty won veto. Summer got saved by the Bel Air thingy majig, so he couldn't touch the people that he wanted to, and that's why he had to get rid of his own by a gummy.
Yeah, he ran out of black people. Is what it looked like to me.
It's what it was.
But anyways, back to this not so daily. So they did really they did give like little snippets of like the DRs. And we do know, like Betty mentioned earlier, Ty did say that he trusts the most Claudia, and Kuzi's a very close second. And I was just like, Kuzi's game is crazy. I said, Kuzi done checked you in front of the whole house and then told you going home next. And you just like, yeah, that's my girl. But we talked about this last pod, and that really just goes to show you, like, one thing about Kuzi, she gives me this old school Big Brother feel. And old school Big Brother, a lot of them would just say straight up, like, this is it. This is the facts. I don't like you. You're going home. I don't care. We'll see what happened in Veto. I don't care. Now everybody's like, let's see what happens by Veto before I rustle any feathers. She's like, oh, let's rustle them.
Yep. As someone say, I do hate you, Kevin.
I do. I don't have to pretend. And I think that's a really wonderful point. And like, that's why a lot of her game too is reminiscent of yours, Betty, as well. Is because, and I think people in that house, and Azah too, I got to give Azah her props too, because the honesty that you guys have shown, like, first of all, shout out to these queens, these Black women that are honest and they say what is on their minds. And I think it helps in the game because in that house of uncertainty, of doubt and deceit, people who speak their minds is like, oh, well, I know where Kuzi's head is at. I know where Betty's head is. She don't like me. Cool. I know that.
Right.
Azah said she wanted to put me. Okay, at least she
you can
be
trust
honest
that they tell the truth. Exactly.
And so I think that works in her favor. It's like people see that she speaks her mind, she stands her ground, she has principles that she stands on, and she means what she says. And so it's kind of like, oh, I can trust her word. She tells me something, I can believe that. And I think, even though Ty, his pride and ego might have been hurt when she told him he was next, and that's why he's walking out the side, he probably be like, well, at the end of the day, Zach is gone, Dan is gone, Claudia is just one person. So if I had to trust somebody, it got to be Kuzi, because we had this connection in the beginning, but I also know she keep it straight with me. So I think that may play a part in that.
And that's exactly what it is. And I think that's why I think Kuzi's game is so admirable, is because of that. Like, she's going to tell you like it is at face value.
Yep.
She's going to do what she says. And to me, that's just like, yes, girl. And
right.
Ty knows that if there's nowhere else for him to go, he's burned so many relationships that if Kuzi's going to extend an olive branch to him, he's definitely going to take it, because where's he going to go? Like,
you don't know nobody.
He's on drifting wood right now.
He's on right now. This HOH is, unless he continues to win power, which we all know is not sustainable. Like, he will
out.
He could pull a Janelle now. I mean, vetoes.
I would love to see it. Like, I would love to see it. Maybe just as an entertainment factor, but I doubt it's gonna happen.
His ego would get so big. I'd almost like to see it. Ultimate villain.
Eli, I'm about to let me exit you from the chat. Remove from
y'all can throw tomatoes at me. You know what? I'm here for the drama.
We would hate to see it, but it would also be pretty. It would be pretty cool to see.
Nah, I don't want to see that. Nope.
You know what? We might need the Kuzi veto run. That's the better thought.
I'll take that.
Run. Come on, veto queen.
I'm gonna get Ty 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, and then I'm done with him.
I think he can leave in a week or two.
Yep.
And cast that final vote for Kuzi.
Yep. Yes. I feel like if people are smart, which of course Queen Kuzi is, if I'm anybody in this house, anybody that get close to Ty leaves. If y'all haven't noticed. And which is, I love the fact, like, Claudia's getting all close with him, whatever, and she probably like, oh, he just won HOH, so let me nuzzle up to him. Kuzi today on the dailies was saying, she was just like, you know what? Ty pissing me off. Like, Ty think he running stuff. Like, you just won 1 HOH, sir, today. And you've been running around this house like you know everything. And I was like, look, your number, you putting Kuzi number 2. Kuzi about to put you at number 11. How many people in that? Because Kuzi ready to evict you on your HOH. And so that's another thing, like, Kuzi just knows. She know when to, like, she's like, you know what? Ty may have to go sooner or later.
Love that.
Anybody close to Ty goes.
She's cutthroat, and I think that's something that sometimes people lose vision of that in the game. They forget about the game and the money, and they're only on their, like, delusional shit. Yep. So it's like she's checking herself and telling herself, like, well, eventually I'm gonna have to cut them too, because the goal is the money. And I think if she continues on that, it's gonna be so to see.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
And honestly, and I know people are like, why y'all keep talking about Kuzi? Well, honestly, she's one of the only ones that really talking to the cameras, if I'm being completely honest.
I love that. Oh, I love it.
So we know more about her game than most people's, because she talks to us. And so that's probably why we got to give her so much. And she's just amazing. But it's like, if the players aren't talking to us, we really don't know their thought process. Whereas we know her thought process because she's giving them to us.
Yeah.
Everybody else isn't. So,
and she's gotten, I feel like in the beginning we saw a lot of Zach, we saw a lot of Kuzi, but like there's some players that we've seen a lot of Renee, but like like you said earlier, I haven't seen Shania a lot. I think she's really pretty and I'm excited to but I don't know jack shit about her.
None. And I honestly, I want to know more about these people. Like, I want to know more about Anika's thought process. Like, what is really going on? Who is she really loyal to? Out of Kuzi and Daniel. I want to know who they really think is running the house. And I think on the Thursday episode, Dan really mentioned, like, he understands that Kuzi, she got some power in the house because when he was looking for votes, he was like, I need Daniel C's, I need Anika's, and such vote. But I know Kuzi is the key to unlocking those votes. I said, you better know it.
You already know who's running the game.
And so, but I'm so glad I mentioned it. Brought me to this point. I don't know how I feel about them airing the fact that Canada voted for her winning HOH as the proudest moment they loved for the season or so far, and they showed it to everybody.
Letting us know,
and then gave her $1,000 on top of that.
I know. I noticed that after too. Like in the moment, I was really excited, but I was listening to some people on Twitter, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that did put a target on her.
Target on her. Like people like her. Why? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so I'm also thinking now, like strategically for this not Canada, Bel Air Direct. Like maybe it is smart not to vote for Kuzi, so that not that much heat on her.
I definitely voted for Kuzi.
No, I wouldn't vote because I trust her social. I trust that she's safe.
That's true. I don't think Ty gonna put her up though.
It's hard for us as the fans to like be strategic. Like I'm just like Kuzi safe, duh. And people are like, no, like save Santina so that. Do you know? But then I'm like, well, maybe Jonathan will go home. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like Santina enough to save her. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. The beauty thing. I need her to not be saved because Ty said he's coming for Santina with 100% everything that he's got. And then I know Renee is on his list too because he said she should have been gone weeks ago.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say Renee is his backup. He's supposed to put up Santina and Renee. So if Santina is saved, I don't know who he would put as a replacement, but I feel like it'd be a waste of a week to get rid of Renee right now.
Me too. Like I think Renee.
It'd be boring.
100%. I think like Ty do you think he might still put up Hope? Like he was kind of acting and doing the most. Like maybe he wants to split up Hope and Jonathan if
maybe because I'm thinking like I don't even know who you put
They've been chilling though, so that's why I'm like I don't know if they
say they're cool,
right?
But who knows if Santina is safe, which I think she's gonna be safe because production, whether she wins the vote or not, I think production is gonna give it to Santina just because she's been causing drama, which is entertaining, of course.
And I wonder if that means Daniel's plan worked. Like, that might have nothing to do with it. But that would be funny if you put up Daniel. But that must
I ain't gonna lie, I would crack up. I'd be like, you did all that shucking and okay.
I know. I doubt he'll do that though.
I don't think so.
I don't think Ty said he would honor it. So we'll see.
I don't know who would be. Maybe Shania.
Maybe. But that's Claudia's girl, right?
I don't know. I think it'll probably be Renee and
Anika probably. I can see him put up Anika.
He said last week that he trusts Anika.
Oh well.
He says that because Kuzi brought up last week, before everything happened, like Kuzi asked Ty who she would put up, and he said, I can't get it out. Kuzi said Anika, and he said, no, I like Anika. I wouldn't put her up. But things change at the drop of a hat, so I don't know who he would put up now, but. I don't know. Now, okay, this week might be interesting because I kind of want Santina saved a little bit just so I can see what messiness happens. Because honestly, as long as Kuzi saved, I could care less who's going in block. I'm gonna be very real. Everybody else can go. I do love Big John too and Hope.
Me too. But I do think it'll be Santina unless she gets saved by some random reason.
But now that I think about it, with there being how many people? There are 10 people in the house, right?
Yep.
10 people, so 9 people.
4 votes.
Yeah, 4 votes. So the crown will really control. So even if one of them, Jonathan or Hope, is on the block, they can save their other person. So,
because it looks like Renee is for sure going on the block.
Yes, she's definitely going on the block. So the crown is in a really good position.
Hey, imagine a Renee Veto win.
Oh,
no, that would be the ultimate chaotic.
Somebody from the Crown probably gonna go back up.
That would be so funny if the one time Ty wins HOH, it's derailed by both Canada and the veto winner. Like he has a plan. Santina or Renee, it's fine.
Oh my god,
you got none of them out.
Because then a Crown member is definitely going home.
No. Wait, if somebody from the Crown went home, who y'all want to go home first? If you had to evict somebody from the Crown.
And Rights and Invisible Ink, Daniel C.
Yeah, I would probably, unfortunately, have to. My first choice would be Daniel C.
Rights and Black Ink, Daniel C.
Oh.
I be saying it with my chest. Look, I love Daniel. Daniel was on my draft list, but the Zach week, he pissed me off. And then he been talking about Kuzi been getting on his nerve, pissed me off. Then he was talking about like we might need to get rid of Kuzi. He pissed me off. Now he's saying Hope was getting on his nerves this week. He pissing me off. Daniel, I'm trying to shoot you some bail. I'm still on the Daniel train a little bit, but he got like one more week.
London calling on YouTube. She said, "Yep, Daniel, exactly, absolutely. Daniel is the one. Gotta go. I'm sorry." They said, shouldn't there be a double eviction next week?
Oh yeah, Double E should be coming up pretty soon, huh?
Yeah,
I'm very interested. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with so many walkout or whatever people leaving the game early.
Yeah. Right. I do not need no battle bag. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sick of the battle bags because for one, the people I want them, they don't get enough. But every time we do a battle bag, the people I want to come back never come back. So I don't ever see a point in a battle bag. But I think a double eviction is going to be interesting.
Somebody from the Crown going home during the double E. I feel it.
And I'm scared.
I don't know who, but
I know if I'm on BB, I'm a social player at heart. Like that's just who I am. I would target me in a double eviction because you don't give people like me who can talk, who are good at speaking. You don't give them a whole week. So because if I get a whole week, I may get to flip some stuff. But during a double eviction, there's not much time to
wide eye.
Listen,
and
taking you out.
Yeah, so I'm scared for our girl Kuzi in a double eviction because that's the prime place to take her out at. Unless she wins, unless she get in her bag, like I said, and she just start pulling out wins that we don't know are possible.
Yeah, you never know. We have never seen them play trivia yet, so we really don't know.
Oh yeah, we haven't.
Her studying and how far she'll go with, because that's like random. Like you really don't know who's been right, who's not.
Yeah. I want to know too with the study because like I ain't seen nobody pick up a book. I know not really book, but I ain't seen them pick up a book to study nothing. Like I haven't heard anybody counting anything. Nobody's talked about days so far. And although that's later in the game, like these are things they should be preparing for, and I'm not really seeing it. And obviously, we don't see it much, but
yeah, we're
gonna see. So, if let's say Santina's safe, because I feel like that's what's gonna happen. We think it's gonna be who, Hope or Jonathan as a replacement with Renee, and I would say Renee goes home, and that's if she doesn't win veto. But we could be seeing a JC Lynn, or not a JC Lynn, but a Helena win a veto out of nowhere. Like
who?
That girl,
Oh my gosh, I hate Helena so much.
It would be the very week that the person we don't expect or don't need to win something, they end up winning it. So
yeah,
oh my gosh, that tooth comp.
Like Shania wins the veto, pulls Renee off. Like you really don't know.
Like now, why would you even say that? Why would you even speak that? Oh my God, Nene coming in. Oh my God, that would be crazy. She won. Oh my God.
But you have to think like, and that's my mind is always thinking the worst case scenario in this house. And we mentioned a little bit earlier, like people like if they feel like they like when Claudia was still campaigning, you should never feel safe in this house. If you feel safe in this house, you're probably going home. You should never feel safe in this game. And so I'm thinking like the worst case scenario, I'm always like something bad is going to happen. We have to prepare worst case scenario. And I just don't know what that's going to look like this week.
You know what? If I'm in the game right now, of course, I don't know what's going on the outside and I'm tied. Santina wins safety. I would have to look at the house. Hope would be the automatic, like, okay, I should just take the chance and get rid of Hope because he's the next strongest guy in the house. But then you also have to look at the dynamics of the house. No women have went home. No women has been evicted. I would have been like, Hope and John, like, do y'all see what's going on here? Like, damn, see, like the boys, we need to kind of get together because these women's is taking us out. That's if I'm tired, that's how I'm looking at the week.
That's the part that we're talking, like Betty mentioned too. Like that's the part about not just laying over and down. Like you're the underdog. Like Eli mentioned, you're the underdog. You only HOH for a week. We're looking at the house dynamic. As Ty, like you mentioned, you got to be like, hold on. I know we not cool. I know we've had our issues, but look at this house. And that's a lot of times these players miss out on the bigger picture. They so used to, and that's what Ty's problem been. Zach got his mind all warped up looking week to week to week, because that's all he's been doing is looking week to week and not at the bigger picture. When these girls, which kudos
Ty
to them,
does not look at the bigger picture at all.
Because kudos to the women, because we've always said women's alliances don't work unless they form middle to end game. And I'm proud of them because they've stuck together for the most part together, and they've been a cohesive unit ish without working as closely. So honestly, it may be time for some of them to start going just to, change the game up a little bit.
Nate ain't about to be in her bag. Watch.
And I think it's funny that you say that, because the women have really been able to, like, by the grace of like the game gods, like a little bit further than, you know what I mean? But I also think it was so wild that Claudia was thinking that Renee was a part of this plan, like we were saying earlier, and so much heat on her when really she's probably her strongest ally other than Ty. And and it's, I don't know, to me, it's like you need to really look at that, because you're willing to really like throw someone that could possibly have your back because of a face. I mean, I know the game really makes you paranoid, but watching that was like painful for me. I was like, come on, girl.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of paranoia, I tweeted this from the account. If I'm one of the crowd members specifically, when they went to cast their vote, I would have cast a vote to evict Claudia just so she could, because she's gonna think it's one of two. It's Ty or Shania, because Shania wanted to save her man, or Ty wanted to save his boy.
Man,
so
I would 100% throw a little hinky vote.
Exactly, just to cast it out. Sure would have.
Unanimous votes are so lame.
Boring. I hate it. Right.
The person leaves like they weren't even here. Marty.
Crack it up.
So yeah, I would have done that just because that's me again thinking ahead of the game, because you want her to think, if we keep in Claudia, I need you to doubt other people, and your closest allies are Ty and Shania. So those are the only other two people who really in good faith could have cast that vote against you, because they had some relationship to Dan. So that would have been my move moving forward, because she might have had a little extra fire to win at HOH, because she'd be like, oh, my boyfriend just cheated, like he just tried to keep his boy over me, or my best girlfriend, just tried to, send me home. And so
they could have planted seeds a little bit, but
because I would have been in the house, girl, who threw that vote? Like, well, it could only be Ty or Shania. That's what I would have been doing, but
I would have been stirring the pots.
I think we're in for an interesting week, depending on how the Bel Air Direct works, and Veto, obviously.
Definitely, we'll really see. I think, like I really do believe if Santina doesn't win, she's going to be on the block, and but who knows? I've always said the power is really in the Veto, like
for sure.
The HOH is important, of course, but like the game changes once the Veto's been won.
Yeah.
Yep. 100% agree.
Because we know, because you had the best Veto win of the season that changed the trajectory of the game.
Look, of a couple seasons.
Because like we told Josh, like y'all couldn't win nothing to save the lines we was moving for, couldn't win nothing to save.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I was actually trying. I know that I found out that he was throwing stuff.
Oh, he threw a lot.
And
I was trying my absolute best in everything I was doing. I was really going up extremely poorly, and I'll always die on that hill. Like, time I'd be like manifesting. I'd be like, "Let's go," and then I'd be the first one out.
Oh damn!
But give yourself some credit, because you were second in that one comp. The first comp Gino won his first HOH. You were second with the numbers where you have to do the thing.
Oh right, and the one where I was hanging on to that man.
Father Time. Yes,
that was also.
You should have won that. Marty cheated. You did.
So that I don't know, but with the whole situation with how the throwing and all that stuff went, it really just messed it up because like we really could have had another cookout. We was really hoping for it, but the cookout could win stuff, and we was like, y'all really can't.
It's funny because week one Herman won, and it's like, all right, like it's
like,
a good trajectory.
Right.
And then it wasn't until the double eviction that another black person won, or person of color.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was like 10 weeks. It felt like 10 weeks later.
And then we had to get on our girl Summer because we love Summer. We had to get on her head about doing that slot pass. We're going to keep talking about the slot pass.
Oh my gosh, that pissed me off so much.
When we bring her on her again, we're going to talk about the slot pass again.
I do think that is probably one of her regrets too from the game, because later when we were talking about it, we were like, damn, if you never took that, you would have won, right?
Yes, for sure. We would have flipped the game.
We would have sitting crispy.
Pop is absolutely disgusting, not gonna lie, but I mean, a little bit of power, that would have been amazing.
Yeah,
I would have loved it.
It would have been amazing to have a Summer HOH because we know she would have been just amazing.
You're not slick. Man, I ain't heard that in so long.
Oh god,
she used to say that all day, every day on the feeds.
Yes,
always be opening up the doors like, you're not slick.
I ain't gonna lie, I did it in my house for a couple weeks.
Right. Oh goodness, Summer. We miss Summer. We have to have Summer back too.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, any other final thoughts about this season? What's going on? How you feel?
I'm obviously wishing and hoping to see like Kuzi go far in this game, and I also can't wait. And I want to just see, it would be great to see these women continue to like turn this into something and go far. And you know what? I am really proud of Hope's game as well. Like in the beginning when she was like really just like, I'm a comp beast, I'm here to win comps. I was like, boring. And then later, I feel like he's been evolving. He's been learning about the game and evolving as the days go by. And I'm loving seeing it. I'm actually even seeing some strategy. And it's like, that's what Big Brother is just so beautiful, because you go in like saying you're going to play one way, you leave like a freaking strat master.
No, seriously.
I'm really excited to see how this kind of plays out for him as well.
I agree, because and I said, come on, Hope, Giesling, Jacobs, Kirby, Reyes, Abeloso. I hope I'm not butchering his last name.
Abeloso. Who is that?
It's Agalobo, Abeloso.
That's his last name?
It's something like that.
Oh, Hope's last name.
Yes. I was just calling him that.
I like, what winner is
all
that?
These strategists.
Yeah.
When he was saying that he was playing the house with the whole acting like he was down, but it was all straight. I was like, come on, you better.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good little move.
Totally. And you know how proud I was of him when Ty was like getting up in his face, trying to like instigate on him. And he was just like, took a step back and was like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. I was like, good for you. Like, this is really just showing that you're really here to play. And you're not here to play like some shit, like cheap, like game. You're here to really show up.
And I love it. I feel like
I would have been out the house.
Switch.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited
to be. I would have. Boy, if you don't get out my face.
Exactly. You
would have got an elbow or something. I would have been like, hey, boy, I don't know.
Hope had to remind us of, I seen in the back of that, he's like, hold on, we not on the streets. Because we was on the streets.
It do feel like he had a quick moment where he had to check himself like, where you at? Okay.
Yeah, and he's a big guy. Like if he wanted to tussle, he could tussle.
Listen,
right.
To take that like composure, I was like, you know what? And when they were trying to convince him to do one thing and he played his own game, I was like, okay. And even the relationship he has with Jonathan now.
Love it. I
love that duo.
You're doing
I really do. I ain't gonna lie.
You're doing right now for yourself. That is like building your portfolio, and I love it.
Yes. I love his relationship with Kuzi too, and obviously we talked about this too. But like when they planned for him to go on the Veto, because it was like Hope is on the block, but he was like, it was all part of me and Kuzi's plan. We talked about it, and I was like, I love that they have a game relationship too, and I'm sure that's developing personally as well.
Kuzi, don't put no more of your allies on the block though.
That part.
It's early in the week, sure. Earlier in the game is cool, but don't do that no more. Just going forward.
We do not need a foul taste situation on our hands.
You can do that pre-jury, that's cool. But now, don't do that no more. Yeah. But it was a great move. It was.
Any thoughts from you, Eli?
Shoot, loving this season. I mean, love the drama and the fact that I feel like I can see most everyone winning, except for maybe Shania, because I just haven't seen her. I don't know who she is. But like, I feel like we get into some seasons where we have an idea on who's going to go week by week, especially once we see who wins HOH.
Yeah.
And at least this week, there's a world where anyone can go. There's a world where if Santina's saved and Renee wins veto, Shanae wins veto, anyone can leave this week. And that's the Big Brother I love.
Except for Kuzi.
Yeah.
Except for Kuzi, yes.
I don't know. Ty, he's vindictive, so he could get him. Like, I know I said I trusted her, but I want to just put her on the block just so she know don't be talking to me crazy. Like,
I can see them getting into it. Like, maybe like she wants to put up, Ty wants to put up a nom or something, and they getting into it. He'd be like, you know what? How about I put you on the block?
Yeah.
What? I can see him doing that. I can see him doing it.
No, I could.
He better not.
Put that out there right now. Like,
again, we're gonna take it back out there. Come on,
my bad.
We throw that
out. But well, if there are no other thoughts, listeners, viewers, we thank you for coming back and joining us and our girl Betty for another episode of Who All Gonna Be There podcast. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. We want to hear from you, and we appreciate you greatly. So until next time, bye.
Good night, y'all.
Peace.